Alright everybody, it is the state of play today, and supposedly we're going to be getting some FNAF. So, let's go ahead and react to this. It's going to be starting in just a little bit. Uh-oh. Yeah, looks cool. Is this part of the Dark Pictures anthology? I mean, this is a Dark Pictures game, so I guess so. So interesting. Here we go! Here we go!
So let me explain the situation. One of our contractors, Edwin Murray, has gone missing, leaving our property abandoned in his warehouse. Your job is simple. Enter the warehouse and retrieve the technology that he was developing for us. It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character. We suspect it may be malfunctioning, so just be aware of the slim but non-zero chance that you could sustain significant injuries while attempting to retrieve it, including but not limited to death or dismemberment. We fully expect the retrieval process to go smoothly and without incident, but just in case, we suggest you get your affairs in order before arriving.
Oh, what the hell? Mushroom guys? Trigger up! What the fuck? Whoa! Music Man!
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
June 13th?
We're the creators of the Midnight Walk, a cozy horror game created entirely in clay, where you will journey down a
Holy shit!
riddled with terrors that will devour you.
That's crazy! That's crazy. Cut to us really going in depth with it. Go, future Diego. Alright guys, we are back. I've had enough time to cool down. Not enough time. I don't think I'll ever be able to calm down after what I've just witnessed. Because this trailer is absolutely fantastic and has so much for us to comb through. I have a list right here that we're going to go down. We're going to go through the trailer chronologically. We're going to go through it. I have specific talking points that I want to really talk about. And then we'll get into theories because I have theories. So let's go ahead. Let's get into this because there's a lot to talk about. Okay, so first off, trailer starts. We have this truck driving through the street. And of course, this is the same truck that we see post, well, first off, in Security Breach, it's one of the vans that you can get in one of the endings where Gregor takes Freddy's head and they drive off into the sunset. That's the same truck. But also, it's the same truck or van from the new Help Wanted 2 DLC that came out a couple months ago as of recording this. Back in, what was it, December? November? Sometime, I don't remember. It was a while ago. But yeah, I think it was December. It's the truck that we see from the end of Help Wanted 2 DLC, where it has the Mixes machine, but also is where we got the first glimpse of the Murray costume manor, which is where this game is going to be taking place. It's the front, as we saw from the puzzle, as well as from physically interacting with it, right? So same van, which is huge. Of course, it has the Fazbear Entertainment on it. So who is driving this van? We don't know. It could be us. Seems like it probably will be our main character. If I had to put my 2 cents in there, this is probably our truck that we're driving. Whether we're the same driver of the truck from Help Wanted 2, I wouldn't say so yet. I think there's still a lot more we could learn, but I think that's definitely a route that you could go through discussing it, right? But right from there, we get actually some footage of them going through the manor. The first things that we see, bunch of costumes, bunch of cutouts, you know, things that you would see in carnivals, which obviously this is going to be supposedly, and which is I'm actually going to talk about later in the video, right? This stuff you would see at a festival, you know, especially with the festival with Fall Fest, right? This is a lot of stuff that we would be able to see if that's what the direction they're going in, if this is the time that we think that it is, right? So obviously a lot of interesting costumes, a lot of different animals that we haven't seen in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not going to go pull out my books right now just because I don't want to. I'm sure a couple of these are probably from the books. You'll probably see John or Rytos talk about them. Oh, this isn't specifically from this book at this time. I'm not exactly sure. I will, of course, be fully up to date by the time this game comes out. There's a lot of things to have to go back and retry. And this is just a simple breakdown just as this trailer released. So we're not going to get into it fully just yet. I might have a video later that really, goes deep in those details. Maybe once we've had another trailer or a demo or something like that. But either way, like I said, a lot of interesting cutouts. Actually, one that I did want to point out is this one that I saw. You're going to see right now. This one is really, really weird. And it is this jester clown looking guy, but look at his face. It is so scary. It is not something that I would assume you'd see at a festival, unless maybe it's like in a haunted house or something. I don't know. He just seemed really weird to me. He's a lot scarier than a lot of the other things that we see in this trailer that's meant to be scary. And of course, maybe it's not meant to be scary. I mean, this is a horror game, so they do want things to be scary, obviously, right? But like design-wise, there's nothing that's been this scary that looks like it's meant to be scary. So it's something I wanted to call out because just how much, at least to me, he stood out. Like when I'm watching this back for the second time or third time around, in this beginning section, he really called out to me that I found that was very interesting. So who knows if we're going to be able to see like that animatronic, that suit. I don't know, but we'll see. He's very interesting to me. So then we get a couple more shots through. Then we come up to this next, a little bit more interesting section. This seems to maybe be the security office that we see later in the trailer. This could be like the inside of it. Maybe you enter that area from the back and you're going in. Not too sure, right? Not too sure. It's what it appears to be. I could be wrong. A couple of things I wanted to call out in this room, right? There is obviously, I think one of the most interesting things about this room is obviously you see the TV screens. This might be a section of the game where we get some classic FNAF gameplay, monitoring cameras, that sort of thing. One thing I really, really wanted to point out is this mushroom guy that we're going to be seeing throughout this trailer. He's one of the costumes that we see the Mimic actually be in. They're calling a lot of attention to this mushroom guy. So he might be one of the bigger antagonists. Well, obviously, the main antagonist is going to be the Mimic, right? What I mean is, this could be one of the main suits that we see the Mimic take over and might have some narrative consequence to it. Maybe it was a favorite of Edwin, or maybe it was David. It could be a lot of things, right? So for some reason, this costume, this character, is important enough in some way that they're really going to be showing him off. Maybe he's just the first costume that the Mimic takes over. Maybe it's the last. We see a lot of Jackie, and we know that the Mimic's mainly going to be in Jackie. He's the one that showed off to be in the Help Wanted 2 DLC. I mean, of course, Jackie seems to be a big deal, the one that they're really pushing. But I wanted to bring attention to this because I find it very interesting that at least in this trailer, we're getting, it's almost half and half this mushroom guy and half Jackie. So I find it very interesting. Maybe we'll see some backstory to it that could be really cool to find out. Another interesting thing that I found in this room is the possible Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, or maybe Fredbear's Family Diner pizza box. I don't usually assume diner with pizza, or I don't usually associate the diner with pizza, although obviously they probably did serve pizza enough to that it would be the start of their restaurant. But it is interesting that this pizza box is there. Again, this is more stuff that I'm going to bring up later and use not as evidence, but as reasoning, because like I said, I don't associate pizza with the diner. Obviously, pizza was probably a part of it, right? But like this style of pizza box is really reminiscent of like later variations of the restaurant with Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, that sort of thing. Things that you would have takeout pizza for rather than a diner, right? So, again, keep that in mind when I come back to it later, because I find it very interesting. Another thing I find really interesting about not just this room, but the entire trailer, is that we, of course, are being narrated by the wonderful Andy Field, who has been like the voice of Five Nights at Freddy's for a while. So this is, if this really is the earliest in the timeline, like if this game really does take place in the 1970s, having this be the voice that we hear still, it's quite interesting. I mean, just like as a timeline thing, right? How long has this been the voice of Freddy Fazbear's? Enough to where he could be narrating this trailer. Obviously, he's coming from Fazbear Entertainment, which, if we're going off by the book, maybe this is... We'll get into that, actually. I find it very interesting that he's still the voice. Is really wanting to point out. Obviously, it's a brand thing. He's super recognizable to us FNAF fans. Of course, we love him. So, really cool to see him be included in here. Then we get this, shot of all the different costumes that the Mimic will most likely be coming in and chasing us down. What I really want to know is if there's going to be more than one Mimic. I think that will be really interesting if we have to deal with multiple Mimic endoskeletons. I don't know if that will be the case, because the fact that the Mimic usually is one specific endoskeleton is a big part of it. Of course, the Mimic program exists in other places, right? But I wonder if this will have multiple Mimics so that we can have multiple animatronics, multiple suits come and attack us throughout certain parts of the game, which I think could be really interesting. Then, one of the coolest parts of this trailer that I think is from here, we see Tiger Rock. Now, Tiger Rock is the plushie that we see not only from the games in Help Wanted 2 DLC. He is the little plushie. He's so cute. And he sits on our desk. He's obviously looks like a costume here, which is really cool. But also, Tiger Rock is from the books. Which one of the big Mimic books is that the Mimic uses Tiger Rock because it is David's favorite plush toy is a white tiger. And he keeps that persona up with him until he takes over Fazbear Entertainment, the company. So it's really cool to see his inclusion here. I hope that this is an actual suit. One of the things that we found that was most interesting in the Help Wanted 2 DLC was the fact that the Tiger Rock plush looked like a costume. And I think this is definitely the best evidence to show, like, hey, the Mimic will be definitely using this costume to do stuff here, to come and kill us or whatever. So really cool to see. Of course, later in the trailer we see him with his eyes grow the classic green and blue. So yeah, super cool. I am very excited to see how the Mimic uses this costume. If it actually is a costume to begin with, it could not be. I think it is. It's what it looks like to me. But I'm really interested to see what its use actually will be in the game. So that's really cool. And so, yeah, we see Tiger Rock, and we get some of our best looks at Jackie, as well as this really cool elephant costume that comes around and turns his head off. There's some posters on the wall. Unfortunately, I can't really get a good look at them. Maybe someone else really digs down deep and is able to find them. I think there's one with the phone numbers. One of them looks like it's one that we've seen before in other games, and I think it is. We also, coming out of the vent, is our girl Jackie, looking scary as hell, looking for us, very menacing. I mean, they definitely have really scored on this design for this costume, for this animatronic. I hate clowns. I really, really do. I don't like clowns. I don't like them. And Jackie scares the living crap out of me. What's interesting is the demo at PAX, was it East? It was either PAX West or East, where Steelwool had their booth and people got to play an actual demo of Secret of the Mimic, and it was in VR. Now, hopefully I get to play it in VR. It depends on if I get a PSVR 2, which I don't know if I will or not. So we'll see if we get to play this in VR. I don't think my PC will be able to handle it. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, if I end up playing this in VR, it is going to scare the living daylights out of me. I know it for a fact. I will cry on camera. So that's exciting, I'm sure, for y'all. Whoever, if we actually end up recording it. So yeah, really cool stuff. Really, I'm so excited. Jackie looks so cool. That's the main thing I want to talk about. I love Jackie. She seems so cool. And yeah, we can move on. But yeah. And the next thing, of course, like I was talking about earlier, the mushroom guy. The mushroom guy. Who is he? What significance does he have? Of course, we get this really cool shot of the mimic's eyes glowing through his costume. I wonder if this is going to be like a chase sequence. Could be. Again, not frightening, right? Unlike that clown cutout I was talking about earlier, Mushroom Guy is not meant to be scary, right? He's a costume for kids, right? So I'm interested to see how they make this scary, whether it be through how he interacts with us through transformations. I don't know. It's something that Poppy Playtime actually does really well, turning things that shouldn't be scary into something that is really scary. And I'm very excited to see what Stewable does with this design. I think it's very interesting. I think it's very unique, something we haven't seen before in this indie horror landscape. So I'm very, very excited to see how this turns out. Of course, after the Mushroom Guy, we get to see one of the new puzzles that we'll be interacting with. Some really weird, like, hexcomb puzzle. Should be interesting. I'm trying to see whether or not it's like a Faz wrench that we're using on this machine. Because we have a lever, but there's a couple other machines that I feel like that we use a Faz wrench on, but like a prototype version of a Faz wrench, which is super interesting. But yeah, it's really cool. Oh, actually, this is actually something interesting. Now that I'm remembering, you know, this elephant guy, if you zoom in, it's very hard to see. I'll zoom in the photo for you. We can see, you know, his arm is off, but if you look where that arm should be, here's a body sticking out, which is very cool. Now, depending on when this game is taking place, it could be taking place after the book story, and it could be other Fazbear employees that the Mimic came and killed as they went in to try and take stuff from the manor. So that's possibly what we're seeing. It could not be. It could be some other, you know, poor innocent bystander that accidentally found their way in here and that the Mimic killed. It would be horrible. But yeah, really cool to see some actual, you know, some gore in my horror series. So very, very cool detail. But after this sequence, we see that this weird robot guy, he's probably the thing that stuck out to me the most, because he is the most different than we've ever seen. Now, I've seen people make comparisons of him to the staff bots in Security Breach, and I kind of see it, you know, similar face shape, similar eye, but he's very weird to me. He feels very animated, and I don't know, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it's bad, right? It's very cool to get something new out of this franchise. I don't know though. He seems very interesting. I'm wondering what his role will be, if he's like a quest NPC that we go to him and he's gonna tell us to go get this and this and this or whatever. It doesn't seem like he might be an enemy. It does look like he's on a cart though. So maybe it's something that we take him around to places and he does stuff for us. He could be an ally. I don't know. It's interesting though, because this is the first real NPC, it looks like, of the FNAF franchise. You really haven't, except for obviously the Into the Pit, right? Into the Pit had a bunch of NPCs, but of the mainline games, it's very interesting to see an NPC of some sort, and it being an animatronic, obviously that maybe Edwin built. Very, very interesting. It's different, and I'm interested to see what his purpose will be in the story and the gameplay. I find that can be really interesting. And he has this really cool present next to him, which is obviously is very reminiscent of the present that we had to, Jack in the Box crank that both the demo and Help Wanted showed off. So could be related to something to Jackie, or maybe that's something that Edwin does. Maybe that's just something that is a calling card of his products. We don't know. So very interesting to see. And then obviously, we see the mushroom guy again. He's walking around, pretty scary. So we go to see outside, and it's snowing. It looks like we're on the roof of the building, which is very cool. And of course, like I was talking about earlier, Tiger Rock eyes glowing green and blue. Very cool. Like I said, I already talked about it. I'm going to skip past it to the thing that I really want to talk about. Helper. Boy, Helper. I love this like Fallout style, like a computer screen that they've given us. Obviously, Helper, very reminiscent of Helpy. I wonder if Helpy and Helper were a Edwin creation that Fazbear integrated into their system, or if this is remnants of Fazbear, integrating with Edwin's company or what have you, right? Very interesting to see. I don't think that Helper will be the Mimic. He could be, right? He definitely could be. As you know, or as you probably know, Helpy in Ruin is definitely a Mimic program, and also Help Wanted 2. They make it pretty clear. So if that's still his role here, it should be really interesting. If it's not, it's still cool to see. I love Helpy. You love Helpy. Everyone loves Helpy. So I can never get enough of this guy. So I'm glad he's here, or at least his dad, right? A new version of Helpy and Helper. So very cool to see. And then here we get something really cool. I have to shout out Mimic One Media on Twitter, or DaneCat33, for pointing this out to me, because I didn't see this. I came across while scrolling. We, in Help Wanted 2, the narrator of that minigame is this lady voice, and their name is Carnival Nurse through the subtitles. And here we have a nurse. Obviously, this game is very much tied to Fall Fest, where I feel like we're going to get a lot of information about that in this game. And we just so happen to have a nurse character. I don't think that is necessarily a coincidence. I can very much see this being the Carnival Nurse, or as her name tag seems to indicate, her name is maybe Dallas or Dallas or something like that. It looks like Dallas to me. Maybe I'll zoom in a bit during editing. Dolly, that's what it is. This could be the Carnival Nurse that Help Wanted 2 was referencing. Very interesting though. Shout out to Mimic One Media on Twitter though, called that to my attention. Very interesting to see. This animatronic looks scary. I will be crapping my pants for sure. With that running at me. A couple other interesting, this like walrus head or something, the seal head with the mustache. Interesting. Animatronic. Looks to be pretty sad. I don't know. Maybe this nurse is not very nice and is not doing ethical things in the medical practice. Who knows? Just a theory. I'm not gonna say it. It's not mine. Can't say it. And then we have this very big shot, right, of a bunch of stuff. This looks like this like warehousey section. Again, what I was talking about earlier with the security office. Maybe that room, like I was talking about earlier, is the other side of that door that we see. Lots of stuff to point out here, but I'm gonna stick to two. There's two main things that I really want to talk about, right? First off, on the left, we see this pig. Now, if you have been with Five Nights at Freddy's recently, especially in the books, you would know that this pig seems awfully familiar to the very important, very informative pig. Is it important or informative? I think it's very informative pig from the VIP Choose Your Own Adventure book that was released as like a free demo to show off the new Choose Your Own Adventure Five Nights at Freddy's books, plural. There's a couple now. They're really cool. When I saw him, as first thing that came to my mind, he looks almost exactly like the cover. You'll see like a side by side now. Very interesting. Very cool. I wonder if we're going to talk to him. Doesn't look like it. It looks like something that's just going to be on the side. But very interesting that he's here, just in general. And then next, we see Montgomery Gator. Well, like a prototype or like a version of Montgomery Gator. If you look right next to the security office, you're going to see a very interesting cutout. One that you might have seen before. This cutout, I mean, it's Montgomery Gator from his past and ruin, obviously. What this necessarily means, I got no clue. Maybe Montgomery is a creation of Edwin. Maybe part of his gang of animal characters that he created. I got no clue. Why is he here? Obviously, you know, these games are being made by the Steel Wool, right? So it makes sense that they'd want to include characters from their line of games. But it is very interesting that he's here, especially if this game is taking place in 1979. Just saying, very interesting that he is here, right? But next, what I think is the most important part of this trailer, obviously, more than Jackie, more than the Mimic, more than Montgomery Gator, we see the best Five Nights at Freddy's character to ever exist. Because crashing down through the window that we saw in that rooftop sequence, we see Music Man. That's right, friends. Music Man is here, and it's so good to see a friend. Of course, he obviously is trying to kill us, as he should. He gets the pass. A very, very cool version of Music Man, might I say? Just like it's like maybe like an opera version of Music Man or something. I don't know. He is looking dandy in this trailer, and I'm very, very excited to see what his role will be in Secret of the Mimic. Because yeah, this design is very, very, very cool, and I love it. But with that being said, we have with Music Man the final jump scare of the trailer, and from this it goes to the release date of Secret of the Mimic being June 13th of this year. So you know, on June 13th we will be here, probably streaming on my Twitch channel at diddacusgaming. For if you want to see me play through this, I do a lot of streaming there, just in case you didn't know. But yeah, oh boy, oh boy, this trailer, man, this trailer is so good. It's so exciting. I'm so excited to really get into this game, to pick through it, to play it, to get scared by it, to find out what the actual secret of the Mimic is. With that being said, let's get into some theories that I've been really teasing throughout this analysis. What is this? Let's get into some theories that I've been kind of teasing throughout this analysis. So I'll take it over to there. Alright, so what does this trailer actually tell us? Well, I think it tells us quite a couple of things that we can really, I don't know, theorize about, I guess is the best way to describe it, because obviously this doesn't tell us necessarily anything special, right? But it gives us a lot of clues to what actually might be the story of this game. And I think I have a couple of ideas. Of course, obviously, this trailer shows that we are a Fazbear employee. Now, whether it be a character that we already know, a character that we don't know, I'm leaning more towards a character that we will not know. A new character that, which is new to the franchise. Obviously, we don't get a lot of new characters. The last new characters we really got was Cassie's dad, and is that really a new character if it's the father of a character that we've already played as, right? So a character that I think is completely separate from whatever the story will be. It seems to me like we're actually going to be just a new face. Now, obviously that can be proven wrong with more trailers. That's just kind of what I'm thinking right now. I feel like if we were someone of notice, there would have been like a sneak peek or a tease to that through, like, you know, we see your hand. We're not necessarily someone, just a random hand, right? We don't know. So I'm going to place my money on a new character. I hope so, because I like new characters, especially if we're in a time that we don't know, right? Which actually kind of want to get into. This trailer, of course, we know from the first ever trailer that dropped back in the State of Play a while ago, was the fact that the date or the year 1979 flashed in its, you know, in the burned film of that teaser. I don't know. I don't think that that's 1979. It doesn't feel like 1979. I don't know. And I'm just getting a vibe, right? Of course, I could be totally wrong. But to me, the vibes from this trailer are not that we are in 1979. To me, it feels like we are maybe a more modern time, maybe the 80s, 90s, 2000s, who knows, right? To me, it seems like we are sent by Fazbear Entertainment after already trials of trying to get into this manor to retrieve the mimic, to retrieve whatever, and to go in and retrieve the mimic and that sort of thing, right? To me, if it were 1979, this would be right after Edwin leaves, before anything that we've known in the franchise, before like the diner. This is before a lot of that stuff, or right? This would be like Fall Fest era, when Freddy's is still a festival kind of thing. From what I know, right? Of course, maybe the diner is already set up in the 70s, closer to the 80s, but to me, if it was 1979, Fazbear Entertainment wouldn't be such an established company. That's the thing. With the pizza box, with the decay of the manor, with the Fazbear Entertainment fan, to me, this does not seem like 1979. I'll place my cards right there. That will be my theory. Of course, I would love to be proved wrong, because I want to see 1979. And maybe this game will jump back and forth. Maybe we'll get a lot to go from. But that's usually not how FNAF games work. Usually, right? I doubt that that's what we're going to see. So it's very, very interesting to me that we see all of these signs that were in 1979, yet that first trailer, I said very clearly 1979, so obviously that's an important date to this game, right? I don't know. And maybe if it's not 1979, this is just me thinking off the top of my head, maybe we're playing as Cassie's dad again, right? Maybe we're Cassie's dad going back to the Murray Costume Manor to investigate the mimic, and that's why in Help Wanted 2 we see the van drive off. Maybe that's because it's us in the van driving off with mexes. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But that's kind of what I want to place my chips on. To me, it doesn't seem like 1979. Of course, 1979 is going to be an important year to this game in some regard. Obviously, they wouldn't put that year if it wasn't important. However, I don't think that's the time of that's the time of the game itself. Until we get more evidence, that's what I want to say. but I hope to be proven wrong. And if I am proven wrong, if you have some more details out there that you think is right, you should let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this breakdown analysis. I hope I informed you. I gave a good summary of what happened, and maybe we can all go into this game a little bit more prepared. Of course, if you want some more in-depth, great videos, go watch Rightos, go watch FunAv, Game Theory, whenever they make a video of this. Obviously, Dual Process, they're all great, right? So hopefully I'm here as well. And if you like this video, I greatly appreciate it. You can leave a like to let me know. Again, comment. If you think I'm wrong, tell me all about it. Tell me all about it. I want to know why I'm wrong. But yeah, very excited for this game, obviously. As you saw in my reaction, I'm hyped, and I hope you are too. So until then, I'll be waiting here patiently. Maybe you'll see me make another more detailed theory. Why I believe this is 1979. Who knows? Who knows? Like I said, you can follow me on Twitch at diddacusgaming, also on Twitter at diddacus01, also on Bluesky at diddacus, whatever the thing is, it's diddacus. You can always look me up there. With that, that's usually what I am. And then with that, I will be signing off, seeing you later. Peace out.